A little demon tries to become good, and a good hero tries to become bad. What happens if good and evil change places? Find out from the review of the cartoon Enya. Between the earth and the heavens, the Pearl of Chaos has been located for 1,000 years, which combines the energy of light and darkness. The great sage Jiazhen sends 2 of his disciples to conquer her. The first disciple, Zhanzhan, looks like a huge fat doll. The second disciple, Shen, on the contrary, is very tall and thin. Together they attack the pearl, but it is incredibly powerful, so it turns into a huge monster and knocks out Zhanzhan. The second student tries to defeat the pearl, but he is also defeated. Zhanzhan attacks again, but the second attempt is also unsuccessful. Then the great sage Jiazhen splits this powerful force into 2 halves, the bright spirit pearl and the deadly demon sphere. He places a curse on the demon sphere, so that in 3 years it will be destroyed by lightning. Jiazhen orders Zhanzhan to guard both halves and ensure that the spirit pearl reaches General Li Jin's son. Thanks to her, he will receive miraculous powers. The baby should be named Enya. Shen is very offended that the teacher did not choose him. But there's a problem. Zhanzhan is lazy and a big drinker. He even tries to get his flying pig drunk. General Li Jin's wife is pregnant. The husband takes care of his beloved, but she is constantly capricious. Zhanzhan appears at the temple with her pig. He brings the sphere with both halves of the Chaos Pearl. And Li Jin's wife goes into labor. One of the guards brings Zhanzhan a jug of wine. The man drinks it and immediately falls asleep. It turns out that he was sent by the offended Shen to steal this powerful artifact. Li Jin tries to wake up the drunken Zhanzhan using the most brutal methods. Does it work? Zhanzhan moves away, and he comes to his senses. Our hero needs to enter a password on the sphere, but he doesn't remember it. Luckily, after several attempts, he finally manages to do it. The guard tries to steal the artifact, but Zhanzhan notices that the man is under a spell. While they are removing it, the midwife appears and places not the spirit pearl, but the demon sphere on the altar. They try to stop her, but it is too late. The spirit pearl ends up in the hands of the traitor Shen. As a result, Li Jin's wife, Lady Yin, gives birth to a real monster, which immediately jumps out of its diapers and wreaks havoc in the city. Zhanzhan tries to catch the baby, but at first he doesn't have enough strength to deal with such a monster. This evil baby is about to destroy the entire city. Zhanzhan uses a magic sphere to contain the monster and tries to destroy the demon. However, the baby's mother rushes to help. The civilians beg the general and his wife to get rid of the monster, but they love their child and decide to keep him. They name him Nebza. Zhanzhan reminds them that according to the curse, the boy will still die in 3 years from a lightning strike. The traitor Shen makes a deal with the Dragon King Aokuang. He gives him the spirit pearl and places it in a dragon egg. Thus, the pearl is embodied in his newborn son Aben, who becomes Shen's disciple. Meanwhile, Zhanzhan and Li Jin go to the great sage Jiajun in hopes of lifting the curse from the boy. But alas, it is impossible. Some time passes. Neya has grown up and is offended by his parents for not letting him out of the palace. The boy is very bored. Lady Yin tries to entertain her son, but playing with such a child is very, very dangerous. She has to put on armor, but even this does not help much. A guard comes running and reports that a monster has appeared in the fishing village. Lady Yin has to leave her son to solve this problem. Neya distracts the guards at the gate and, taking advantage of the moment, leaves the palace. He goes to the city, and the locals, hearing his voice, immediately rush to hide. The streets of the city become empty. However, Neya quickly finds everyone, and the people run away in panic. The local kids are discussing how to defeat Neya. They want to set a trap for him using knives, rocks, angry wasps, and a dirty lake with sea urchins. Only they fall into it themselves, and of course, they end up in the dirty lake. Our evil hero is delighted. The offended boys call Neya a demon, and he throws a huge rock at them. The boys are saved by Zhanzhan riding on his pig. Niju is locked in the palace again. Lijin and Lady Yin realize that they cannot tame their son's evil nature. So Zhenzhen decides to take the boy as her apprentice. Naya tries to escape again. He finds a portal in the form of a huge map and falls into it. The boy finds himself in an incredibly beautiful clearing and meets Zhenzhen. Our fat hero shows the kid a magic brush for changing the world and demonstrates various tricks. In this world, Zhenzhen is capable of real miracles. The fat man begins training, and Neo turns out to be a very talented student. But he remains the same hooligan and constantly plays pranks on Zhenzhen. The poor guy even has to kiss a poisonous frog because of him. And Naya accidentally sets his teacher on fire. The little monster's parents rush to help Zhenzhen. At first, Naya really wanted to be good, but the locals were afraid of him, hid their children from him, called him a demon, and teased him. That's why he became so evil. The parents lied to their son that he is the embodiment of the pearl of the spirit. That is why he is so strong and unusual. Zhenzhen also deceives the boy, saying that his calling is to hunt demons. 2 years pass. Naya successfully fights various evil spirits, destroying the city and maiming civilians along the way. Fortunately, this is only an illusion drawn by Zhenzhen. With the help of a pig snout, you can turn back time and correct your mistakes. But the boy doesn't care about ordinary people, so his spear of power is taken away. Angry, Naya runs away from his teacher and goes to a small fishing village. At that time, a water demon is in charge there, trying to eat a small dog. Nedya appears and attacks him. A few strong blows and the monster immediately runs away. He tries to hide in one of the barrels of water, but our little hero sets everything on fire and finds the demon. The chase continues, and the water monster manages to grab the little girl. He runs to the sea, but their Albin blocks his way. He turns the sea water into ice and engages in a fight with the demon. The evil Naya decides to beat them both, but it is not easy to deal with the son of a dragon. Taking advantage of the moment, the water demon releases poisonous bubbles that turn everything into stone. This is exactly what happens to Albin and the little girl he wants to save. However, the situation is saved by Naya, who successfully fights off the bubbles using Albin as a weapon. The demon loses and gives our little hero an antidote to his bubbles. Naya brings Albin and the girl back to life. He likes being a hero. Naya and Albin quickly develop mutual sympathy. The dragon's son is the first one who is not afraid of Naya and does not mind playing with him. When Albin leaves, angry villagers appear. The fact is that Naya destroyed their houses while chasing the water demon. The boy is scolded and tried to beat up for allegedly stealing a child. And breaking down, Naya attacks them. Draku stops and ties up his student. Albin returns to the sea and tells Zhenya that he has made friends with a boy named Naya. The teacher reveals the truth about the child's evil nature. Afterwards, Ryokuen tells his son that dragons once soared proudly in the skies until the gods sent them to fight the sea monsters. Having imprisoned the monsters at the bottom of the ocean, they realized that they could not leave it, because then the creatures would break out. Albin is the dragon's last hope for freedom and vows not to let his father down. Meanwhile, General Lijin and Lady Yin are preparing to throw a lavish party for their son's 3rd birthday. Naya invites Albin to the party, as he is his only friend. Soon, Ryokuen gives his son all his powers, including the impenetrable dragon scales. The festive party begins. The traitor Shen comes to Naya and tells the boy the truth about his demonic nature. Zhenzhen gives his student a spear of fire and his flying pig, and Lijin gives him an amulet against all problems and troubles. But the boy is not happy with the valuable gifts. Upon learning the truth about his origins, he becomes so enraged that he completely loses control of himself, frees himself from the spell that restrains him, turns into a real demon, and almost takes the life of his own father. Zhenzhen tries to bind Naya again, but his strength is no longer enough. Shen and Albin watch this from a high mountain. The son of the dragon must wait for Lijin and Lady Yin to die, then intervene and save the village to become a national hero. However, Albin refuses such a vile act and rushes to help his friend. He saves Naya and his parents, and Zinzin, using his magic and ability to turn various objects into ice. Our evil hero is put back in the restraining hoop and his sanity is restored. Netsu feels betrayed and leaves. He is sad and resents his parents. But with the help of a flying pig, he finds out that Lidzin tried to save his son at any cost and even offered his life in exchange for his. Meanwhile, Lighten tears off Albin's hooded mask. All the people see that there are small horns on his head and a mark of the Pearl of Life. They understand that this guy is the one who has incarnated the Pearl of the Spirit, and that the dragons are to blame for everything that is happening. This means that all dragons must be destroyed. Shen appears, confesses to stealing the pearl, and persuades his disciple to destroy the city so that no one can tell the great sage Tiazun about it. Albin creates a huge block of ice to crush all witnesses. Lighten and Lady Yin tried to stop him, but he has impenetrable dragon armor. Suddenly, Naya appears, saves his parents, and attacks his friend. A furious battle ensues between them, during which ours use all their superpowers and fight in several dimensions at once. Naya once again frees himself from the hoop that restrains him, and Albin transforms into a huge ice dragon. After a long fight, Naya barely defeats Albin, but refuses to take his life, as he is his only friend. At this moment, the sky is covered by thunderclouds, from which a giant lightning bolt emerges. Naya is ready to accept his fate, but Albin stands by his side with his dragon armor. Together, they unleash the power of the Chaos Pearl and absorb the lightning energy, but their bodies are destroyed by the force. However, our heroes continue to exist as spirits. They no longer have a body, but they still have a soul.